Do you remember ChatGPT operator? Well, neither do I. But OpenAI has just released its new unified version. They combined operator's capability, which was to interact with your operating system, be that macOS or Windows, to add a deep analysis and deep research into the way to interact with your data. They're calling it ChatGPT Agent, which is a way for it to take actions on your behalf, with your sessions, with your authentication. Now, if you're not concerned enough yet, well, you have to read their release paper. It's quite interesting in terms of what they're proposing and what they're thinking about it, but also from a security perspective, what are the risks that they themselves call out for this technology? A lot of them we can foresee, right? Effectively, there are ways that attackers are utilizing to inject prompt on the web pages that these potential systems are interacting with. This is already being done in some ways, of course. We know there's research on that. They are calling out that this could also be happening. And they implemented a few security capabilities in order to guard rail against those things. However, we know that adversaries are very clever, so they will find ways to circumvent that, I'm pretty sure. One of the features that it has is to browse the web on your behalf. It uses your access to sessions you give to it. It can take screenshots of its own interactions. They're also calling out here that users must essentially take care of the integrations themselves. They call this out in their document. Just here, you're seeing on screen right now. Now, what I want to call out to you is users can barely manage every single service they utilize. And once you set something up, they're very, very unlikely to check that back after a couple months of not using them, aside from cybersecurity professionals. Another risk they call out in the document is model mistakes. Since the agent can outperform tasks with real-world consequences, there is a risk of making real mistakes. Mistakes such as purchases without explicit user confirmation, sending emails, or performing critical tasks without user supervision. They also call out that for high-risk tasks such as bank transfers, it's been trained to refuse action without supervision. However, what I want to tell you is there is clear signs that these capabilities are begging for others to monitor how they're utilizing and interacting with user data. It's starting to become an ecosystem. That's my view, right? But think about it. Windows has a lot of safeguards and guardrails on how it interacts with user data. However, they've never been good enough. We always needed ways to check for files that either are being downloaded or executed, or how files are actually interacting with your system. This is where it's very important to have third-party services interacting with that data and that operating system. Let's call it operating system because I'm talking about Windows at this time. But have third-party services monitoring what's being actually done to that operating system. This also plays an important role into making sure that the provider of the operating system, of whatever is interacting with your data, is actually evolving it at a speed that is actually good from a security standpoint as well. Not only developing new features that are only looking for ways to monetize or get money from it. And so this might be a massive issue for anyone trying to use or thinking about using it. So before you do that, think twice, thrice, or my take, don't use it at all for now.